I'm Dave Packer. More than 2.7 million Ukrainians have fled their country to escape Russian attacks, more than half of them to Poland. ABC's Ines de la Catera is there.
Volunteers at the Korsava Refugee Center in Poland telling us in just the last couple days, they've already seen a significant increase in the number of people coming in from western Ukraine. Refugees like Yulia and Oksana, two moms who held out hope the fighting wouldn't reach Lviv, told us they fled this morning in a panic after being awakened by the sound of explosions at the military base in Yaroviv. Ines de la Catera, ABC News, Korsava, Poland.
After Sunday's deadly attack at that Ukrainian training base just miles from the border with Poland, a senior administration official telling ABC News there's growing concern Russia could strike Poland, which has been staging aid to Ukraine. The Russians warning anyone who supplies weapons to Ukraine or offers safe haven could be in the crosshairs. But diplomacy presses on, and right now a fourth round of talks underway between Ukraine and Russia. And the U.S. is talking to China.
New concerns this morning over Beijing possibly providing a lifeline to Moscow. Today, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan meeting with his Chinese counterpart as a senior U.S. official tells ABC News Russia asked China for military equipment and economic assistance after the invasion began.
ABC's Ika Jachi, a senior administration official, telling ABC News Putin is desperately asked for Chinese help. Chinese authorities reporting more than 1,300 locally transmitted cases of COVID-19 across dozens of mainland cities today from a fast-spreading variant commonly known as stealth Omicron. It's China's biggest outbreak in 2 years. In New York City, detectives looking into whether the overnight death of a homeless man is linked to the killing of other homeless men in Manhattan and Washington, D.C. Tom Brady coming out of his less than 2-month retirement to play his 23rd season in the NFL. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
New tensions in the Middle East after an Iranian missile strike into northern Iraq. The missiles hit near an American consulate, but Iran says the target was actually an Israeli intelligence facility and that the missile launch was in retaliation for an Israeli strike into Syria. Two very different views of immigration at the southern border being painted by state and federal officials as deportations drop to about 60,000 a year.
When Joe Biden was vice president, removals of non-citizens reached highs of more than 400,000. Under President Biden, customs agents are focusing on arresting and deporting primarily undocumented immigrants with felony records here or in their own countries. But Texas Governor Greg Abbott says
the Biden administration is allowing the human traffickers to run roughshod across our border.
Abbott is expanding his program of arresting migrants on misdemeanor trespassing charges when they set foot on Texas soil. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
And Hollywood saying goodbye to one of its own. Actor William Hurt has passed away. He won the Best Actor Oscar for Kiss of a Woman and then was nominated for the same award 2 more times in a row, including for his role in broadcast news.
I know how much I have to learn. If I could, I would really a lot appreciate it if...
Really a lot appreciate it?
You make me nervous.
Hurt, whose acting career spanned 5 decades, was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2018. He was 71 years old. This is ABC News.
Are you drowning in IRS debt? Then you need an ally. A team of tax attorneys and licensed IRS negotiators that'll fight for you. The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to help hardworking taxpayers just like you. Take down this number, 800-390-5870. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, you need an ally too. Call Allies Tax Relief at 800-390-5870. They're professionals. That's 800-390-5870.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want their list.
Temperatures for this afternoon will be slightly warmer out there. We're going to see a lot of sunshine with high clouds moving in and highs in the low to upper 60s. Overnight will not be as cold with temperatures in the mid 30s and the lower 40s. Tomorrow, even warmer out there. Highs in the upper 60s and the lower 70s. We do anticipate more clouds to build in on Tuesday with rain by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's a pretty good weekend for us, I think. A little breezy, a little cool, but other than that, sun was shining, and looks like we may get some more of that today. Sunny skies with highs around 61, with wind gusting to about 13 miles per hour. That wind Saturday was really gusting, pretty heavy winds, and cold weather on Saturday. Almost too cold to do anything outside, but it settled down for the night. Now tonight, partly cloudy, lows around 39. Tomorrow, looks like we may have partly cloudy skies with wind gusting to 10 miles per hour, about 66 maybe for the daytime high, and 66 again on Wednesday. So not bad weather at all. Hope all of you got your clocks sprung forward for Sunday morning's time change. Everybody ready for that, I guess. Didn't show up late for Sunday school. 7:06, I now have these death announcements. Alan Reynolds, 88, of Spindale, died Sunday, March 13th. Those arrangements are incomplete at this time, and Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of those arrangements, and will announce those at a later time for Alan Reynolds. William Douglas Crump, 51, of Golden Valley, died Thursday, March 10th. A visitation will be held from 5 until 8 o'clock Tuesday, March 15th at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home for William Douglas Crump. Harse L. Jones, 82, of Bostic, died Wednesday, March 9th. The graveside service will be conducted at 4 o'clock today at Mount Harmony Baptist Church Cemetery. The Reverend Tripp Queen will officiate, and Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Harse L. Jones of Bostic. Paula Jean Newman Anderson, age 79, of 4A City, passed away Friday at Solace Hospice in Asheville after a brief illness. A rosary will be held at 4 o'clock today at Crow's Funeral Chapel, with visitation to follow from 4:30 to 6. A funeral mass will be conducted at 11 o'clock Tuesday at Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in 4A City, and burial will follow in the Cool Springs Cemetery. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Paula Jean Newman Anderson of 4A City. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:35, and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon report here on WCAB in Rutherford. Well, the Tar Heels lost out in the ACC. They were beaten on Friday night by Virginia Tech, 72-59, but they do have a bid. They do have a place in the NCAA. We'll be announcing that to you later point, but they did lose in the ACC, so they will not be the ACC champions this year. Don't know yet who will be, but Tar Heels are certainly out of it. Well, on December 27, 2016, Robert Leo Biggs went missing from Chimney Rock, North Carolina. Bob, his friends and family called him, left his home in burgundy and gold Subaru wagon and traveled to Chimney Rock. While there, he visited a local ice cream shop around 11 o'clock, and a store employee was the last known person to have seen Bob. Bob was last known to be wearing a burgundy sweatshirt, blue jeans, and a baseball cap. He's a white male, age 55, with gray hair, his blue eyes, and 5'8". He also has a tattoo of a diver's helmet on his left calf. On a very recent Monday evening around 11 o'clock, a man who bears a resemblance to Bob attended an outreach service in Pritchard Park, Asheville. A local church, Blue Ridge Bible Church, provided a community service known as Midnight Ministries. Picture taken at the recent event captured a man that some believe could be Bob. Pictures of Robert Leo Biggs and this unidentified man seen in Pritchard Park was included in some of the messages sent out. Out of respect for the unknown man, his face has been blurred. However, If you recognize him by clothing he's wearing, contact the officials.
Riley here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Monday, if you are Christian, you might consider reading my book, Killing Jesus, during Lent. Actually, it's a history book. There's no religion in it at all. But it answers this question. How did a 33-year-old man living in a remote part of the world become the most famous person ever to live on planet Earth? Well, it is an amazing story. Jesus of Nazareth was a stone cutter. Now, most religion classes will tell you he and his father Joseph were carpenters, but there's one problem with that. There were very few trees in Judea, 31, 32 in that zone. And at first there were a few people that came and listened to him, and then there were hundreds, and then there were thousands. So why did that happen? You couldn't hear Jesus. There wasn't a microphone back then. You could see him. You couldn't hear him. Nevertheless, thousands of people followed him around. Now, I say it had to be because of the miracles, but we don't write miracles in Killing Jesus. Fascinating book. Now this. Investors, are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer steady monthly payouts plus double-digit annualized returns. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
No silly giggling, no screaming and yelling, no vulgar language, and no put-downs. We're up, live, and family-friendly. We are WCAB Radio, serving your family 24 hours a day.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
The year was 1879. The Lincoln County War was all but over. Lew Wallace, the governor of New Mexico, was in Lincoln County taking a personal interest in getting to the bottom of the conflict. Houston Chapman, an attorney, had just been murdered, and Governor Wallace wanted his killers. Although it was generally known who the killers were, someone had to testify against them. The governor knew that William Bonney, later to be known as Billy the Kid, was that man, because Bonney had already written him saying he would testify in exchange for immunity. So on March 17, Bonney and Governor Wallace met. It was agreed that there would be a mock arrest. After the testimony, Wallace would give Bonney a pardon. But before the arrest, the killers of Chapman escaped. However, Governor Wallace assured Bonney that the deal was still on. So, on March 21, Bonney surrendered to the Lincoln County Sheriff. In April, the accused murderers were captured again. But before Bonney could testify, he was taken away to Donna Ana County to stand trial for the murder of Sheriff William Brady, who was killed a year earlier. Bonney and two others were indicted for murder. Although Bonney was still getting assurances that his deal was still in place, he sensed it was turning sour. But he still testified against his friends. Feeling he had no bargaining power and that things were still going bad, in May, William Bonney decided to give up trying to go straight, escaped his captors, went back to cattle rustling, and became Billy the Kid. And the rest is history. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
Now let's get up to date on what's been happening over the weekend, and we go first to the Sheriff's Department. And Deputy Butron is on the phone to give us that news. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Doing great, thank you. What's on the report from the weekend?
In the past 48 hours, the Sheriff's Office has responded to 285 calls for service. The jail's processed 15 arrests, and there's currently 173 detained in the jail. For arrest reports, Lacey Victoria Bailey was served with an order for arrest for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Christopher James Anderson had an order for arrest for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Eric Tyler Knott was charged with failing to appear on his release orders. Andrew Ryan Friends was served with an order for arrest. Timothy Richard Nealon was charged with second-degree trespassing. Roy Stephen Buff was served a warrant for misdemeanor probation violation. Julie Nicole Moore had a failure to appear on a show cause order. Anthony McMahon was charged with assault inflicting serious injury and injury to personal property. Angel Hope Mosier was served with an order for arrest for failure to appear on a felony. Regina Morrow Randall was charged with possession of a controlled substance in a jail and also had an order for arrest for failure to appear on a misdemeanor. For incident reports, Charles Christopher Ramsey reported a breaking and entering and a larceny. Donnie Ray Davis reported a breaking and entering and a larceny. Pamela Yvette Forney reported a discharge a weapon into an occupied property. That's all we've got.
Deputy Butron, thank you very much for that report, and you be safe today.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll check with 911 Communications Center in just a moment to find out what calls they received over the past 48 hours.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush. Brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Here's Kylie now with the 911 report. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What's on the report from the weekend? You got a lot of calls?
There's plenty on here. In the past 48 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 712 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 88 for EMS, 285 for the Sheriff's Office, 115 for Far City, 7 for Lake Lure, 48 for Rutherford, 80 for Spindale. Fields Creek responded to a motor vehicle accident as well as a power line fire. Cherry Mountain responded to a motor vehicle accident. Far City responded to a residential fire alarm. Hudlow responded to a gas leak. Lake Lure responded to a power line fire as well as a residential fire alarm and an electrical fire. Rutherford responded to a motor vehicle accident. SDA responded to a power line fire, and Shingle Hollow responded to a power line fire, and that's all we've had.
Thank you very much. Busy weekend. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
There was. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Danieltown SDO Fire District is our next stop. That's where we'll find Ruby Taylor to give us a report from that community. Good morning, Ruby. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, Jim. How are you?
Great, thank you. What's on the report?
Well, they had a power line fire, and on my birthday calendar, I've got Magina, whatever, Mara, having birthdays, and hope that they have a nice day, and the signs are in the heart today and tomorrow. And Jim, that's all I got.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye. Well, it's always a good event. Anytime you can take friends and family or just go solo up to Washburn Store. Take a trip back in time when you step into Washburn Store and need a spinning wheel or an old-fashioned wood cook stove or a washboard, maybe some Lincoln Logs, Tinker Toys, and overalls, and wide selection of candy and John Deere toys, plus a whole lot more. 4 generations of the Washburn family have owned a Washburn Store in Bostic, and members of the 6th generation work there regularly. It's always fun to step back in time, in history, and enjoy shopping at Washburn Store. It's always fun to bring friends and neighbors when they come to visit us from somewhere else. Show them how proud we are to be the home of Washburn General Store. Between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Make it your next stop. Now here's Gary Wilson. He's up in the Fairfield Mountains Fire District on this Monday morning. Gary, how was your weekend?
Weekend was pretty busy. Saturday had everybody hopping Saturday with that wind and everything.
Yeah, I bet.
They had in the Lake Lure and Pills Creek and Chimney Rock were up on Chimney Rock Park. They had a power line tore down up there and set the woods on fire. And I'm not sure how much it burned. They were up there for a couple hours getting it out. Started a brush fire from it, and that seemed to get everything started. We started having trees and power lines down all over the place. Then for a couple hours, it got pretty busy. I think we ran about 5 calls. Bills Creek must have ran about 7 or 8. Lake Lure, Chimney Rock, Green Hill, all of them were busy there for, well, practically the whole county. Every time we turned around, they were dispatching somebody to a tree down or a power line on fire or something. So
it sure was breezy
there. Yeah, it got pretty breezy there Saturday morning for a while. I don't know what the wind gusts got up to, but there's a couple of them pretty stiff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they calmed down after that, and we had a quiet weekend after that on Saturday night and Sunday, so ready to go to your Monday morning. 32 degrees out there this morning. Not a bad start. It's going to be a little warmer today than it was yesterday, so we'll take that. Mm-hmm. If everybody has a good quiet day today, we can rest up from the weekend maybe.
It'd be nice. I guess that March wind came in a vengeance on Saturday, didn't it?
March winds can be rough sometimes. You know, we still got some of March left yet, so we're not out of the woods yet as far as bad weather goes, so we'll wait and see what we got.
Gary, I appreciate you keeping us posted and keeping us informed, and you have a great day and be safe up there.
All right, you too, Jim.
Thanks. Gary Wilson reporting in this morning from Fairfield Mountains Fire District, and also reporting on Bills Creek, which they seem to have stayed quite busy. I don't know if you were out in that wind or not on Saturday, but it would almost blow you down unless you're have extra padding of weight. Then maybe you stood up, but it was really quite busy. All right, we're going over to, let's see what we go check out here just a few moments. We'll find out who our next call is going to be. Looks like we're going over to Bostic, North Carolina, and check on things there right after we do this.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company. Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company. Jackson, Mississippi. An independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Now it's 7:25. Let's go over to Bostic and talk with Vern Upton. How's things going? Did you blow away over the weekend?
Just about.
It was windy.
It was windy with the wind blowing and it's time changing. I'm telling you, I'm all confused. Temperature over here in Bostic's 31 degrees this morning. Fire department had 2 medical calls, and they do have a fire meeting tonight at 6 p.m. Be some training going on. Rick Strickland will be at Faith Baptist Church Sunday, the 20th, at 11 a.m. singing. And the 26th at Faith Baptist Church, there will be a grocery giveaway starting at 8 a.m. Everyone's welcome to come out. Brian Melton is the pastor there. And hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You too, Vern. Be sure to keep your eye on things for us, and we'll check back in with you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. All right, we'll continue rolling around the county. We touch bases with all our reporters to keep you informed. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled Aryee. Now let's head to Hudlow Fire District. And Bob Hodge, good morning.
Well, good Monday morning.
How you doing?
We're doing just fine up here this morning. You looking sharp this morning?
Well, thank you. I had to put on a little extra because it's money to keep me brightened up here this morning.
Well, that's looking good there. Oh, well, things are going along pretty good up here, and with the fire department over the weekend, we thanks to a couple medical calls and a gas leak call. Want to say happy birthday to Jeanette Owens and Charlie and Gina Burgess' wedding anniversary today. And also, today and tomorrow is a good time to mow over your wild onions to keep them from coming back. So,
hey, that's right.
Yep, so you got a chance. Get out and do that today and tomorrow. And also, Piedmont Pleasant Hill Clubhouse is having a spaghetti supper coming up this coming Saturday, March 19th. And that's from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. It'll be $8 for adults, 6 to 12, $4. Jim, that's about all I've got up here in their neck of the woods this morning.
All right. I'm glad you didn't blow away on Saturday. Glad you were able to hold yourself down.
That's right. But
go ahead.
But you have a good day now, Jim.
Thanks, Bob. You too. Have a good day over there and be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Hodge reporting in from Hudlow Fire District, 729.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now, is Cherry Mountain Fire community doing well this morning, Sue?
Good morning, Jim. Fine. I think we're doing okay.
Good.
Got a pretty sunrise out there this morning. The sky's so pretty.
And we almost have a full moon back again. It just doesn't lack much more. It'll be a full moon by tonight.
That's That'd be pretty. Well, let's see. The fire department had one motor vehicle accident. The only birthdays I have today are on Fairview, First Broad's calendar. They have Delano Smith and Clyde Hudson, so hope they will have a good day today on their special day. We'll have anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a good day and enjoy it. And in my announcements, the Golden Valley Community Club will meet tonight at 7 p.m. This is a change now because next week when our normal meeting time is Fairview Baptist Church is having revival next week, so we've changed our community meeting till tonight, so keep that in mind and come on out. And then the candidate for sheriff, Aaron Ellenberg, will be at the Golden Valley Community Clubhouse Saturday, March 19th from 9 to 11 for a meet and greet time. I had been given the wrong date on that. She said that when she called, she said, "I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong date." I said, "Well, I'll try to get it changed then."
So the correct date is the 19th?
19th, yeah. And it's not a club-sponsored thing. It's just something that they're doing. And the club will be having a forum later on. I think that's maybe April 2nd, but I'll have more on that later. But this is not a club-sponsored thing. It's just somebody's using the clubhouse. And as far as I know, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thank you, Sue. You have a good day as well. I'll see you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's a new month, and a new crop of scratch-offs are ready to harvest. These tickets are fresh off the vine and plump with prizes. Oh yeah, smells like a winner to me. So come on down. Your freshest chances to win in an instant are ready with new scratch-offs like 200 times the cash from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Kinda gives cash crop a whole new meaning. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 2.90. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Hey folks, you know, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherford.
We work our way around the county each morning on the Call Around News Report. We're now up to the Shingle Hollow community, and Tina White's on the phone to give us the news from that fire department and also Green Hill. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. You have made it to Shingle Hollow, and it is 30 degrees up here on Pie Day. Did you know today is Pie Day?
Pie Day. I like the sound of it. I didn't know that, but I like that sound. What does that
314.
mean? Means we're supposed to eat some pie?
It does, but 314, doesn't that equal pie in some kind of mathematics?
Well, I don't. You're over my head now.
Well, like I said, up here in Shingle Hollow, it's 30 degrees.
I like the vision. I like the vision I had better when I looked at a beautiful homemade pie of some kind. I like that vision better than the math.
Well, you know, that's exactly what I was thinking of, a homemade pie. We could go, isn't there a pie place somewhere in Forest City?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's open on Sundays, but today's a good day for pie.
It is.
Like I said, 30 degrees, sun coming up, and it's beautiful sunrise over Glenda's house this morning. Fire department on Saturday, there were some power lines down and power line fire, I think, and they got that taken care of. This morning, about around 6:30, I saw a couple trucks go down with their lights on, but it was a few minutes they came back up, so I don't know what happened this morning, but apparently it's been taken care of. Very thankful for our firemen. Birthdays today. We have Miss Autumn Brown, Diane Ramsey, Angela Brackett, and Elizabeth Biggerstaff. So if you know any of these ladies, call them, tell them happy birthday. It's going to be a good day to have a birthday. No announcements that I know of. We're all just calm, cool, and quiet. We're going to visit and do things in the rest of the county, it looks like.
Yes. I'm sure these other organizations would welcome you.
They usually do. Yes, they do. Well, it sounds like I hear a siren again. I don't know if that's the fire station or maybe a policeman. But be careful up here in Shingle Hollow this morning. I don't know what's going on yet.
Well, there may be some limbs, trees down from all that wind they haven't gotten to yet, so everybody should be careful wherever you're driving around the rural areas this morning. Because they might
the wind
could
was
not
horrible.
get to all of them.
Well, so just everybody be careful. Have a very blessed day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you, Tina. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Jim, have you seen Henson Building Materials' newly remodeled showroom? It's gorgeous.
You mean where they have a full line of hardware and building materials for homeowners and home builders?
I mean where Jamie, Terry, and Tony, their friendly staff, treat me like family. Oh, they're so nice.
Hey, are they taking COVID precautions and have curbside service?
Of course. They're so thoughtful.
I do need some materials, but I don't think they'll fit in our car.
Oh, silly. They have professional delivery so we can get whatever I want.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street in Forest City.
Building starts here.
You know, some of you listening, they may have some situation going on with your health and you don't have insurance, or you're aggravated with your insurance company, or you're aggravated with the service you've been getting. Well, listen up to me. Let me introduce you to Brock Family Care. That's a direct primary care practice that takes care of the patient and not the insurance company. That's a relief, isn't it? Providing flat rate pricing and not accepting any forms of health insurance allows for more personalized and affordable health care. Now, Ann Brock has over 42 years of healthcare experience and 22 years as a nurse practitioner. She and her staff are dedicated to providing health care that is patient-centered and not insurance company dictated. They give the patient the time and the attention that you need. What are your medical needs? Questioning what you might be concerned about? Well, bring it over to Brock Family Care and see the difference, and also offers telehealth appointments. The professional staff are dedicated and will take the time to find out how they can help you. To learn more about this wonderful medical service, go to a website at www.brockfamilycare.com. If you don't have insurance, come on over. If you get aggravated with your insurance company, come on over. If you have questions about your health, come on over. Brock Family Care, 289 Shallow Road, Forest City, or you can call them 382-7281, or check out that website at brockfamilycare.com. Now here's Brenda Kelly reporting from Union Mills. Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How about yourself on this marvelous Monday morning?
I'm happy as a lark that
I know
have
it.
another Monday.
I know it. I can hear you singing.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did. I went up to where it was snowing.
Really?
Yeah, I went up at Buck Creek and visited with my friend and her son. He's terminally ill with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and my two daughters, we cooked and took a meal up there to them. And it was just a snowing, and it never did lay, but it was pretty just to watch it fall.
Now, where's Buck Creek?
You go up like to Tom Johnson's camping center.
Yeah.
And there's a stoplight right there at it. You hang a right.
Okay.
That's Buck Creek. Go all the way up to, takes you into Yancey County and up to the Parkway.
Okay. It's in McDowell County then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, there's a Buck Creek down in Chesney, too. Buck Creek
I know it. Yeah. And she lives right there at the Triple C campground.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she's up on the mountain.
I saw some pictures of folks up in Boone area and Asheville area that got some snow, and they said I saw some pictures that looked like it's a pretty good little snow for them.
Well, I seen on the news, I believe it was yesterday morning, before I went to church, that somewhere up in Yancey County they got 9 inches and something.
Mm.
So I was just about 6 miles from Yankton County.
Mm.
But and that wind blowed. Lord have mercy, that wind was terrible.
Yes.
But it's pretty riding up through there. Anybody that had never been up through there, I can't remember that road. I don't know if it's 181 or 180 or I can't remember. I just know I've been going up there for the last 50-something years.
Yeah. That's beautiful country up there.
It is. It's real pretty. But we hope everybody's having a good day. I've got 26 degrees on the front porch this morning, and I've got one anniversary, and that's our pastor and his wife, Dale and Sissy Austin. And they've been married 35 years today. So happy anniversary.
Good for them.
Yeah. And then ways of announcements, Friday, March 18th, Carly Airwood will be performing 7 p.m. at the Union Mills Learning Center. She'll be performing some music from her new album. All music programs are free, no admission, but they do have a tip jar available. And other than that, I don't have nothing. Just short, sweet, and quiet.
All right, let's hope it stays quiet up that way, and I will check back in with you next time.
Okay, catch you later.
All right, bye. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
Well, let's see what's been happening over in Ellenboro over the weekend, and the man about town is Luther Gilligan to give us all that news. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, you two. Hope you're having a good day.
So far, so good. How about you?
Hey, doing great down here. Coffee's good. Just drinking coffee, waiting on the sun to come up.
All right.
But it's quiet, not a whole lot happening. Everybody just trying to get back to work, get another week started. The fire department, they only had 3 medical calls over the weekend. Other than that, they're fairly quiet. Just nothing going on with them. But when we have birthday today, Miss Sharon Hawkins, she's having a birthday today. Mr. Philip Toomey, he's having one today. So hope these two people have a great day. Hope you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you, Luther. Have a good one now.
All right, take care now.
Bye. Well, that leaves us time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries for this 14th day of March. Almost half a month gone. Doesn't like much more to be half over. March 14th, 2022. Birthdays and anniversaries coming to us now at 287-3356. And we'd love to celebrate your birthday or your anniversary. So call in now. Todd's standing by to take that call at 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Well, if you were looking forward to a Granny B's breakfast this morning, I'm sorry, but they're closed on Mondays. They'll be back tomorrow morning to serve you breakfast. You'll be ready for that one too, right? Breakfast served oh you like it at Granny B's. Plus, those delicious daylight donuts are always mouth-watering. Get plenty of those and take them with you, eat them there, or share them with your neighbors and friends at the office. Granny B's, always serving food the way you like it. Main Street there in Spindale. They'll be back open tomorrow morning at earliest breakfast time. Main Street, Spindale.
Happy
birthday. Everybody's celebrating locally, but we do have some birthdays that we can celebrate. 1833, Lucy Hobbs. She was the first woman dentist in the U.S. She was born. 1879, Albert Einstein was born. He died in 1955. 1921, S. Truett Cathy, founder of what? You know what? Truett Cathy, founder of Chick-fil-A. He died in 2014. 1933, Michael Caine was born. 1948, Billy Crystal. 1951, Rick Dees, a radio DJ, was born. On this date, 1794, Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin. 1923, U.S. President Warren L. Harding was born, became the first president to pay taxes. 1973, future U.S. Senator John McCain is released after spending over 5 years in a North Vietnam prisoner of war camp. This is National Napping Day. National Children's Craft Day and National Learn About Butterflies Day. National Pie Day, as Tina mentioned earlier. That's P.I. Day, not P.I.E. National Potato Chip Day and National Write Your Story Day. So now you're up to date on the state and history here on WCAB in Rutherford. Stand by now for Keys to Confident Living. At the top of the hour, we have the job market report to tell you all about where jobs are.
The people walking along a street one day didn't know what to think of it. A man with no apparent reason leaped at another and started beating him violently. The aggressor was shouting, "I didn't do it. Confess that you committed the murder." The man on the receiving end of the beating confessed only after fearing for his own life. There had been a serious miscarriage of justice several years earlier. The man who was demanding the confession had been incarcerated for robbing and killing a traveler on a lonely road. He had been pronounced guilty because 2 witnesses testified against him. It turned out that the 2 witnesses were the murderers. The man who had been punished had been looking for the real killers since his prison release. At last, the case was reopened and our aggressor was exonerated. Nevertheless, he had spent 23 years of his life in a double prison, the physical building and the prison of anger and bitterness. Even though he was now physically free, he was having a difficult time letting go of his terrible experience and resentment. Kathleen Norris wrote this about life: "All that is necessary is to accept the impossible, do without the indispensable, and bear the intolerable." We cannot change the past with its injustices. We can only let go and move forward. The Bible says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell in the past." This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living.
No silly giggling, no screaming and yelling, no vulgar language.
WCAB.
Oh yeah, it was a hell of chaos. It was bombs coming from like left and right. You just praying to God it doesn't land near you.
The U.S. saying it's clear Russia is now broadening their attacks. This is Today. Ukrainian Russian negotiators meeting virtually, both sides cautiously optimistic going into discussions. And in Rome, the U.S. meeting with Chinese officials.
A senior U.S. official tells ABC News Russia has asked China for military equipment and economic assistance. How China responded to Russia's request is not clear. Despite Putin-friendly news coverage at home, China has appeared to strike a neutral tone on the war, saying it will not join harsh sanctions against Russia. On Sunday, Sullivan warned China to avoid helping Moscow.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert. The mayors of New York City and Washington, D.C. vowing to catch a, quote, cold-blooded killer targeting homeless people in both cities. This after another homeless person was found dead in New York City overnight. Former President Obama testing positive for COVID. He says he had a scratchy throat for a couple of days, but otherwise says he feels okay. You're listening to ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? Do you feel like there's no way out? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Get off the debt treadmill and stop the harassment. Get free of credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and medical bills. Call now at 800-533-6605 for free information. For about 10 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands. They're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, too. Get off the endless cycle without having to declare bankruptcy. You'll have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call Total Financial now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605.
New lockdowns in China after the National Health Commission. They are reported nearly 1,400 new cases of coronavirus in a 24-hour period. Officials have responded by putting new restrictions in place in several provinces covering 51 million people. One suspect now under arrest accused of selling drugs laced with fentanyl to people on spring break in Florida. Officials say several cadets from West Point got sick. The trial starts today in bankruptcy court in Delaware over whether to accept a reorganization of the Boy Scouts. The plan was put together in the wake of tens of thousands of child sex abuse claims. Soaring gas prices driving buyers to look for more fuel-efficient cars, but the Wall Street Journal says pickings are slim after car makers over the last few years ditched smaller cars and sedans in favor of more profitable SUVs. And Hollywood losing an Oscar winner.
William Hurt was perhaps best known for playing the network news reporter who could cry on cue in broadcast news.
You could get fired for things like that.
I got promoted for things like that.
The role got him a Best Actor Oscar nomination, one of 3 in a row in the 80s, and the role of prison inmate Luis Molina won him an Oscar in 1985's Kiss of the Spider-Woman.
Why do only women get to be sensitive?
More recently, he was known for playing Secretary of State Thaddeus Ross in 5 Marvel movies, including Avengers Endgame. Hurt was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2018. His son says Hurt died of natural causes. William Hurt was 71. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
Millions of people use Zoom Phone, the innovative and feature-rich cloud phone system for businesses of any size. Zoom Phone is simple to use, whether you're on a mobile device, desktop, laptop, or desk phone. And because every call is important to your business, Zoom Phone was built with reliability in mind, using geographic redundancy to keep your communications online. Empower your workforce with Zoom Phone. Visit zoom.com/phone system. Zoom, how the world connects.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine into the afternoon. Our temperatures will be seasonable as well, heading into the low to upper 60s. And we could see a few high clouds roll in later in the day. Otherwise, tonight, temperatures will be milder, will fall into the mid-30s and the lower 40s, with highs in the upper 60s and the lower 70s for tomorrow. We are tracking rain to arrive Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We're still at 31 degrees, but we have about 30 more degrees to climb before we get to our expected high today of 61. So we got to start climbing here pretty soon once that sun finally gets behind those clouds. But mostly sunny today, and tonight dropping back to 39, a little warmer than it is right now, and light wind. We've had enough of that gusty wind, haven't we? But it's to be gusting to about 13 miles per hour today. And again, right now, 31 degrees. All right, let's head to the phones now to find out some good things about our economy and where some jobs are. And Anita's on the phone to give us that news. Anita, how's your weekend?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good, pretty good. You get blown away, I don't guess.
No. I actually stayed in on
Yeah, it's a good day for that.
That's right.
Tell us where some jobs are.
We've got a caregiver in Far City that pay is $17,300 to $29,800 a year. They're not requiring any experience or any education. We have a dump truck driver in Rutherford. They will discuss the pay with the applicant, but they want you to have a high school diploma and 6 months experience. We have a clinical technician in Ellenboro. The pay is spent on experience. That requires a high school diploma. A recovery support specialist in Ellenboro. That requires a bachelor's degree and 2 years experience. The pay is dependent on the experience. A general manager in Far City, $59,500 to $148,000 a year. They're requiring a year experience. Then we have a recovery guide in Ellenboro that pays spend on experience. They do require to have a high school diploma. A shipping clerk in Far City, that is $14 an hour, high school diploma and 6 months experience. An assembler in Far City, that is $14, beginning $14 an hour, and high school diploma and 6 months experience. Another general manager in Rutherford, $45,000 to $50,000 a year, high school diploma and 3 months experience. A maintenance up in Rutherford, that is $10 to $13 an hour. They'd like you to have 1 month experience, not require any education. A shift manager in Far City, that is $12 to $15 an hour. They're not requiring any education, but they would like you to have 3 months experience. A crew member in Rutherford, that is $10 to $12 an hour. That doesn't require any education or experience. A schedule specialist in Far City, that is pay is $50,800 to $93,000 a year. They do require a high school diploma and a year's experience. We also have virtually a job applications, learn tips to create your job application, how to get your interview, and we that is tomorrow at 2:00. We can give you a link for that. You just call us, and then next Tuesday we have a interviewing workshop that is virtual as well, and it's 2:00 in the afternoon. We can send you a link for that. Just give us a call for any of these jobs or the workshops even at 828-286-3042, and we're located on Charlotte Road in Ruston, 223 Charlotte Road.
Thank you very much for this Monday morning report. We always look forward to talking to you and getting some ideas on where we can go find these jobs and make some money.
Thank you, hon.
Thank you. Have a good week.
You too.
Bye-bye. 8:09.
Tax refund time is here. With Bark Mobile's More Fun Refund event, you can put more smartphone in your pocket and keep more of your refund cash there, too. Make the switch today and get a free Samsung Galaxy A32, or save $100 when you bring your own device. Plus, stream more shows, play more games, enjoy more of all your favorite content with 2 lines of unlimited data for just $35 a month per line. Hurry in to Bark today and get more during our More Fun Refund event. Bark Mobile. Mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details or visit mybarkmobile.com/terms and conditions.
Hi, my name is Sam Fender, a retired local police officer. I met Theo several years ago at Bible study. His friendship led me to discover Theo's wealth of experience as a state trooper in problem solving, along with compassion towards those he served. After retiring from the patrol, Theo served as a federal air marshal. When he saw corruption, he fought the federal government and won his whistleblower case. Theo has met with many of you and understands your concerns. His approach to problem solving is professional, accountable, and exactly what Rutherford County needs in a sheriff. Vote for Theo May 17th.
Paid for by Steve Theodoropoulos, Republican for sheriff.
You need an insurance agent you can talk to? Call Insurance Service Associates at 828-245-5301. We want to help you get the best out of your insurance dollar. As a trusted choice independent agent, we shop your coverage with several companies to give you the best value. More companies, better choices, best rate. Come see us at our new office at 245 East Main Street in Forest City, or call us at 828-245-5301.
Well, trying to get in touch with Wayne at Wayne's Lunchbox this morning to talk about some lunch specials. My goodness, he's not available right now, but maybe we can get to him in a few minutes. But you always remember that when your stomach starts growling about something good to eat, not just fast food, it's a perfect time to try Wayne's Lunchbox specials at lunch. You got the vegetables and many veggie sides, and 5 meat choices every day at lunch. It's a great place for lunch Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Call on Wayne's Lunchbox for any catering event, too, that you might have. 395-2225. Visit Wayne's Lunchbox today, and you'll be a fan like so many others are. Some of the stories from here and there this morning, the Daily Courier has reported that the family of a man who went missing at Chimney Rock in late 2016 is pursuing a new lead in the near 6-year-old case. Robert Lee Biggs of Asheville went missing from Chimney Rock on December 27th. 2016. Bob, as friends and family call him, had left his home in his burgundy and gold Subaru wagon and traveled to Chimney Rock. While there, he visited a local ice cream store around 11 a.m. with a store employee, the last known person to have seen Bob, according to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office. Recently, a man who bears a strong resemblance to Bob was observed attending an outreach service in Pritchard Park in Asheville. A local church, Blue Ridge Bible Church, provides a community service known as Midnight Ministries. Pictures taken at a recent event captured a man that some believe could be Bob. Photos of Bob and the unidentified man seen in Pritchard Park accompanied this story in the Courier. Out of respect for the unknown man, his face has been blurred. If you have information regarding the possible identity of the unknown man from the clothing he's wearing in the photo or whereabouts of Robert Leo Biggs, contact the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office at 286-2911. Crime Stoppers at 828-286-TIPS or by using the Submit a Tip feature on the new Rutherford County Sheriff's mobile phone app. You can always remain anonymous with those tips. Back when Bob disappeared, he was then wearing a burgundy sweatshirt, blue jeans, and a baseball cap. He is white male, age 55, with gray hair. He has blue eyes and is 5 feet 8 inches tall. Bob also has a tattoo of a diver's helmet on his left cap. So if you see anyone fitting that description, please contact the Sheriff's Department. We'll have that Sheriff's Report with Deputy Buton coming up here in just a few moments. The interesting article I saw, it was also in the Daily Courier, but written by Michael Reagan, who is Ronald Reagan's son. He talks about Zelensky, who is the president of Ukraine. He says Zelensky is the Reagan of Ukraine. He's made quite a quick and dramatic transition. Michael Reagan goes on to say in less than 6 years, he's gone from a comedian and TV actor to politician to president of Ukraine to a global hero. Zelensky has become Ukraine's voice of resistance, the brave leader who refuses to surrender or flee in the face of the brutal and massive invasion of his country by Vladimir Putin's military machine. While Putin has become the free world's great Satan, people everywhere are praising Zelensky and even comparing him to historic wartime leaders like Winston Churchill and Benjamin Franklin. Not to diminish Zelensky's personal courage or the moral power of his calls for military help from NATO and the United States, but when it comes to great leaders in the world today, there isn't much competition. Joe Biden, Boris Johnson, Emmanuel Macron of France, not exactly modern-day Reagans, are they? Thatchers and Pope John Pauls, are they? To defend his country, Zelensky needs some deadly stuff, modern jet planes and lots more advanced soldiering and fire javelin and anti-tank and Stinger aircraft missiles. While he's waiting to see what happens, what weapons he'll get, he's just received a Freedom Award from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute. The Ronald Reagan Freedom Award won't do much against the Russian tank, however, but when Zelensky officially gets his honor on Monday for his courageous fight against tyranny, it might lift his spirits a little bit. It's a fitting award to give to Zelensky for standing up to the Russians. It's been given in the past to the likes of Mikhail Gorbachev, Margaret Thatcher, Colin Powell, Poland's Lech Walesa, and a fellow comedian actor Bob Hope, also known as America's Ambassador of Goodwill. The award represents the values and principles of freedom that Ronald Reagan fought for all his life and is considered the highest civilian honor bestowed by the Reagan Foundation. In a way, what Zelensky is doing reminds me of what my father did on a much smaller scale in Hollywood in the late 1990s. This is Michael Reagan writing. He says, my father, then a liberal Democrat, was in his first presidency as president of the Screen Actors Guild. It was a violent time when the Communist Party was trying to take control of the movie industry's unions. The unions were fighting each other and strike breakers outside studio gates, and the movie Mongols were hiring gangsters to intimidate and undermine the unions. Working to keep SAG and other Hollywood unions free of communist influence, Ronald Reagan was not afraid to fight for what he thought was right and do it publicly. He stuck to his democratic principles and was a tough negotiator who forced the studio bosses to provide better pay and benefits for the actors who had elected him over and over again. At one point, he even put his life on the line. In 1946, Ronald Reagan got anonymous death threats and a warning from the police that he was in danger from the members of a new left-leaning union that was trying to replace SAG. He not only started packing a gun, he slept with it under his pillow, which scared the heck out of his mother, my mother and Jane Wyman. In 1960, SAG brought back as union president, and he held a major strike by actors that shut down the movie industry. He forced the studios and producers to create a residual payment system for the first time that continues to this day. Ronald Reagan was a natural leader and anti-communist long before he became president of the United States and orchestrated the collapse of the Soviet Union. Obviously, Ronald Reagan never had to risk his life to defend his homeland against a Russian invasion the way Zelensky is today. But just as some people are calling Zelensky the Reagan of the Ukraine, Michael Reagan says, I like to think of my father as the Zelensky of Hollywood. I hope Zelensky wins for freedom the way my father did. That was written by Michael Reagan and well contributed about Zelensky and his bearing the brunt of the invasion of Russia and being bold enough to stand up and fight for the right. Still a lot of turmoil going on over there, and we still need to keep them in our thoughts and prayers and do all we can to help them in the hope that the tyrant Putin will somehow fall away and not kill any more lives. 18 past 8 o'clock, here's some words.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continuing to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith's Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith's Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recall devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith's Drugs of Forest City.
Well, look out for the Hugging Bandit. An elderly woman dubbed the Hugging Bandit pickpocketed victims after pretending to know them. This happened. An elderly Florida woman is accused of pickpocketing strangers by pretending she knew them, and while giving them a hug, swiped their credit cards and wallets. Kathy Stevens, nicknamed the Hugging Bandit by police, is being held in the Pinellas County Jail on more than a dozen charges from the Clearwater Police Department and other law enforcement agencies across the Tampa Bay area. Stevens, 65, allegedly targeted older men and would approach them outside of stores. Clearwater police said she would act like she knew the man, give them an unwanted hug, and steal the pocketbook from them as she hugged them. Oh, I believe I know you. Oh, I need to give you a hug. Zap. Out goes the wallet. So there you go, folks. All right. Deputy Butron was on with us earlier this morning, and we got the report recorded for broadcasts for you at this time.
In the past 48 hours, the Sheriff's Office has responded to 285 calls for service. The jail's processed 15 arrests, and there's currently 173 detained in the jail. For arrest reports, Lacey Victoria Bailey was served with an order for arrest for affair to criminal misdemeanor. Christopher James Anderson had an order for arrest for affair to criminal misdemeanor. Eric Tyler Knott was charged with failing to appear on his release orders. Andrew Ryan Friends was served an order for arrest. Timothy Richard Nealon was charged with second-degree trespassing. Roy Stephen Buff was served a warrant for misdemeanor probation violation. Julie Nicole Moore had a failure to appear on a show cause order. Anthony McMahon was charged with assault inflicting serious injury and injury to personal property. Angel Hope Mosier was served with an order for arrest for failure to criminal felony. Regina Morrow Randall was charged with possession of a controlled substance in a jail and also had an order for arrest for failure to criminal misdemeanor. For incident reports, Charles Christopher Ramsey reported a breaking and entering and a larceny. Donnie Ray Davis reported a breaking and entering and a larceny. Pamela Yvette Forney reported a discharge a weapon into unoccupied property. That's all we've got.
Thanks very much, David Butron. There's a story out from Breaking Christian News that has revealed the Biden administration paid the media $1 billion for COVID shot propaganda. The Biden administration paid nearly the entire corporate media, including so-called conservative media outlets, with taxpayer dollars to engage in a massive campaign to push only positive coverage about COVID shots while censoring any negative information without disclosing it to their audience. This is a serious breach of journalistic ethics. Congress appropriated $1 billion in fiscal year 2021 for the Secretary of Health to spend on activities to strengthen vaccine confidence in the United States. Then hundreds of news organizations were paid by the federal government to advertise for the shots as part of a comprehensive media campaign by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The information was revealed in response to a Freedom of Information Act request filed by Blaze Media. This request uncovered that the HHS purchased advertising on television, radio, in print, and on social media to build vaccine confidence. Have another story where the Massachusetts Department of Health announced this week that it would be tweaking its health tracking methodology after the approach led to a significant overcount in COVID-19 deaths in the state. In a press release Thursday, the department acknowledged it would be retroactively removing 4,081 deaths from the state's overall count while adding 400 deaths, making the net change of decrease roughly 3,700. The overcount was reportedly the result of a faulty criteria for inclusions that logged deaths as resulting from COVID-19 if the individual had a confirmed positive case within a certain time frame prior to their passing. In other words, they could be sick with something else and develop COVID and happen to die. They marked it down as COVID death. Happened many, many times. They're now looking at that again. Well, folks, with your permission, I'm going to step away from this microphone for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days this week, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Lou will be here to fill in this blue room spot for me. I'm just told to take a little breather and freshen up the old mind channels and get back with you on Friday morning. So you folks have a wonderful, wonderful 3 days, and I'll see you back here real soon. Sports Update is coming up next, and we'll find out who gets into the NCAA and what berth they'll be playing in. So hang around with us right here on WCAB Rutherford.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Duke and Carolina are among 5 ACC teams going dancing. Duke is the 2 seed in the West draw, and they will play 15 seed Cal State Fullerton Friday night in Greenville, South Carolina. Carolina is the 8th seed in the East and will face 9th seeded Marquette Thursday afternoon in Fort Worth. The ACC tournament champions Virginia Tech are the 11th seed in the East. They'll go against 6th seed Texas in the first round. Miami is the 10th seed in the Midwest draw. Notre Dame, the final ACC school, getting an at-large play-in bid. They'll be in the first 4 tomorrow and Wednesday, and they'll go up against Rutgers, with the winner set to play East 6th seed Alabama. Davidson, the only other North Carolina school going dancing. The Wildcats are the East 10th seed, and they'll play Michigan State in the round of 64. The ACC is also sending 5 teams to the women's NCAA tournament. NC State getting the 1 seed seed in the Bridgeport draw. Carolina is the 5 seed in the Greensboro bracket. UNC Charlotte earning the 14 seed in the Bridgeport draw. Chase Briscoe executed 2 great restarts over the final 20 laps and pulled away from Ross Chastain and Tyler Riddick in NASCAR's Cup race at Phoenix Raceway. Ryan Blaney, who won the pole, also won the second stage after leading 138 out of 185 laps. He had to settle for 4th. NHL action on Sunday featuring a divisional matchup between 1 and 2 in the Metro Division. It ended with the second-place Penguins doubling up on Carolina 4-2 to end the Canes' 4-game win streak. Head coach Rod Brindamore asked if he feels like the competition down the stretch of the regular season is getting tighter and more intense.
I don't really think much different, to be honest with you. I'm happy with this game, other than the result. I mean, we played hard, and especially considering in the 3 and 4 nights, and we actually got better as the game went on. Sabres and Maple Leafs skated under the snow on Sunday in the Heritage Classic, the outdoor game staged in Hamilton, Ontario, about halfway between Buffalo and Toronto. The Sabres scored 3 in the third to win the game 5-2. Josh, Zach, NCN Sports.
You never know what is going on in someone else's family. You don't know the health of their parents, their family members, their grandparents.
It would be very difficult for me to be vaccinated and for my child not to have that same protection. So it's time for all parents to have that conversation with their pediatricians.
Vaccines are an important part of the puzzle, and we can get back to making sure that their childhood is not a pandemic, but just normal and fun and happy.
Kids have a spot
to take their shot.
Visit myspot.nc.gov to schedule your child's COVID-19 vaccine today.
Hi, Darcy the Cow here for Black Cow, the mature manure. Planting a sustainable vegetable garden helps to protect the environment, and there's nothing like knowing where your vegetables came from. Black Cow is a natural fertilizer with 10 times more nutrients than garden soil. Everything grows better with Black Cow, you know. That's blackcow.com.
Black Cow, the mature manure, Black Cow.
7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady, he's decided to unretire and return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tom Brady tweets, "These past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field and not in the stands." The night before he retired, February 1st, he said this.
"When I know, I'll know, and when I don't know, I don't know, and I'm not going to race to some conclusion about that."
He says his teammates and his family are making it all possible. CBS Sports senior NFL reporter Jonathan Jones.
When he starts week 1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he will have that record at 45-plus years old as being the oldest starting quarterback in NFL history.
Brady has won 7 Super Bowls. The Buccaneers tweeting, "Tampa Tom is back." Matt Piper, CBS News.
It's like a bad penny. He always turns up. It'll be his 23rd season in the NFL. Josh, Zach, NCN Sports.
We're going to see a lot of sunshine into the afternoon. Our temperatures will be seasonable as well, heading into the low to upper 60s. And we could see a few high clouds roll in later in the day. Otherwise, tonight, temperatures will be milder, will fall into the mid-30s and the lower 40s, with highs in the upper 60s and the lower 70s for tomorrow. We are tracking rain to arrive Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And we're just about to unlock that freezer locker. We're now at 32 degrees, warming up all the way up to 61. Later on today, sunny skies and wind gusting to about 13 miles per hour. It's going to be a nice, beautiful day here in the neighborhood. Right now, 32 degrees. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherford, serving the foothills of the Carolinas from 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program this morning is Josh and Gabrielle Valentine.
Good morning, Rutherford County, and welcome to this program of Word of Faith Fellowship radio programs. This is Josh Valentine and my wife, Gabrielle. And we're here today to share with you what God's been doing in our lives. And we really want to focus on what God has been showing us about pride and how it works in our lives. And, we can look around the world today and see how pride manifests in people such as world leaders invading other countries and trying to grow their kingdom, grow their power. You can look and see in our society how men and women rise up against authority, rise up against the police and attack them and even murder police officers. And that's easy to see. That's a spirit of pride. But I'm realizing how much pride has worked in my life and how it's controlled the way I have lived and the way I've acted. And I want to read a scripture that is really the foundation for what I'm going to be sharing today. And it's out of 1 John chapter 2. In verse 16, it says, "For all that's in the world, the lust of the flesh, craving for sensual gratification, the lust of the eyes, greedy longings of the mind, and the pride of life." And the New Amplified says that the pride of life is the assurance in one's own resources or in the stability of earthly things. And of course, these do not come from the Father, but are from the world itself. And I really want to focus on that assurance in one's own resources, because I think that really is such a issue in the world today. We all try to live our lives to make money, to be successful, to have achievements, but are we doing it out of pride, or are we doing it because we want to do God's will and we want to be a blessing? And, when I think about specifically money, how does money control people's lives? And how does pride work through that? I mean, people are consumed with their salaries, making more in their investments, increasing their bank accounts. And in Deuteronomy chapter 8, Moses warned the Israelites and said, "Beware lest when you have eaten and are satisfied, have built good houses and lived in them, when you have herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and gold multiply, and all that you have multiplies, then your heart becomes proud." And you really see that through the Israelites, how God brought them out of Egypt. He took them through the wilderness. He fed them with manna, with water, and yet they were still ungrateful. And every time that they came up against the Pharaoh, or they came up against not having food, God provided for them. And he brought them into the land of milk and honey, into a land of prosperity. And Moses warned them, be careful. Be careful. Once you have more than you had, don't forget God. And it says, remember, it is he who gives you the power to make wealth. And God wants his people to be prosperous. God wants us to be successful. But it's not so we can benefit ourselves and so we can be somebody. It's so that we can give and so we can be blessings to other people. And I, look at my life. What is my drive every day? Is my drive to build a business? Is it to make more sales, have more income? Or is my drive every day, Jesus, I just want to be a blessing to people. I just want to help people. And in my line of work, I practice law as well as my wife. We get to practice primarily family and criminal law. So you deal with people going through divorces, you deal with people fighting over their children and money. And then on the criminal side, people who have found themselves in trouble with the law, who have either been wrongfully accused of something or actually committed a crime and are facing the consequences of it. And so in that, I have an opportunity to help a lot of people. But is what I do every day, even if I'm helping people, am I doing it in my ability? Am I doing it thinking I know? And we're going to talk more about that here in a few minutes. But really, even in your life, when you go through your day, are you doing it in your own strength, or are you doing it inquiring of God, asking God for him to help you? Because at the end of the day, when we either take our last breath or we're raptured out of here, we're going to stand before God not for how much money we made or how much we achieved or accomplished. We're going to stand before God based on, did we do the will of God? And that's how we're going to be judged. And God warned the church of Laodicea in Revelations chapter 3 and said, Because you say I'm rich, I've become wealthy, and I have need of nothing, yet you don't know you're wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. And you can think you have everything in this world. You can think you have it all together. But without Jesus, your life is absolutely worthless. And specifically with respect to our careers and our natural abilities, I mean, God's given all of us different gifts. And we all have a special part in the body of Christ that we're supposed to carry that weight and help God's people. But I'm really seeing how we can get lifted up in pride thinking we know how to do something apart from God. And in 1 Peter chapter 5, Peter was talking about those of you that are younger and of lesser rank. And that's us. We're still in our 20s. It says, Peter said, be subject to the elders and the guides of the church. Give them due respect, yield to their counsel. And Peter understood authority. He understood he walked and lived with Jesus on this earth. And he went on to say, clothe and apron yourselves with humility as the garb of a servant, so that its covering cannot possibly be stripped from you, with freedom from pride and arrogance towards one another. And nobody likes people that are prideful. Nobody likes people that are arrogant. And God does not want us to be arrogant. He wants us to be humble and be a servant. And it goes on, God sets himself against the proud, the insolent, the overbearing, the presumptuous, the boastful. He opposes, frustrates, and defeats them. But he gives his grace to the humble. And I seen in my life, I see in people's lives that I deal with on a daily basis, when you get lifted up in pride and you think you know more than God, God will resist you. And a lot of times people don't even know it. I know in my life I haven't always recognized it. But when you get in pride, you know, how does God resist you? He could send, your car could break down. You could have a car accident or get a ticket. You know, you could have your air conditioning go out in your house. You may not have money to pay your bills. But in that, do you turn to God and say, God, where have I cut you off? Or do we just keep grinding? I've got to make more money. I've got to do more. It goes on to say, therefore, humble yourselves, demote, lower yourselves in your own estimation under the mighty hand of God, that in due time he may exalt you. And how do we do that? In verse 7, it says, cast the whole of your care, all your anxieties, all your worries and concerns once and for all on him, for he cares for you affectionately and he cares for you watchfully. And really, that's been such a key for me. How do I stay humble? I just cast everything in my life on God. So, for example, I have cases that I get anxious about. In my job, I have my own firm with Blake Calder, my law partner, and if we don't make sales, if we don't have people hire us, we don't get a paycheck. And so I have opportunity to be anxious about that. You know, it comes in waves. You'll have weeks you're covered up, you don't know what to do, and other weeks are slower. But it's an opportunity for me to trust God, not get in my strength and my pride. I can do this. I can make more. Once you get that client, do I turn to God and say, God, I don't know how to help this person, show me? Or do I get lifted up in pride and think I know how to do it? And I've had several cases over the past year, young man my age charged with a horrible crime against a child, was facing 70 plus years in prison. And I really had no faith in myself that I could get him off because I felt like he was innocent. But I cried out to God and said, God, I don't know how to do this, but you know truth and you know what will move the hearts of this jury. And I really saw God show up for me, and he was found not guilty on all charges. And it was in those moments when I could look and reflect that, God, you did that. And people say, oh, you did a great job. No, it was Jesus. Jesus helped me. Jesus showed me what to do, and he gets the glory for it. And I think, we all like the praises of men. We like when people pat you on the back and say, oh, you did such a great job. But do we care more about that than we do about what God thinks? Because God's the one who holds eternity in his hands, and he's going to determine where we spend heaven or hell. I've also seen how much pride works in the way we speak, in the words of our mouth. And even God has helped me, show me even with my wife, when I am joking with her or about her or one of my friends, am I putting them down? If I am, that's pride. To think that, putting someone down or making a jesting comment, it's pride. I'm thinking too about even in sports and athletics, when you play sports, obviously the goal is to win, but is our heart that we're there to be a minister, a testimony, and make other people bring Jesus and make them see Jesus in you? Or is it all about winning? God's been really helping me because I grew up mostly playing softball. I didn't really play a lot of basketball growing up. And so now I'm on a basketball team, and it's really hit my pride because I'm not good like a lot of the guys out there. But do I give to the pride and say, well, I'm just going to sit on the bench. I don't want to embarrass myself. Or do I say, Jesus, I don't know how to do this. Show me, help me to help my team. And, I think really it's a key in my life, and so many of us, do we go off our natural ability, how we think we know how to do something, or do we really turn to God? And the other aspect out of that scripture in 1 John is really our achievements and how successful we are. Do we put pride in what we accomplish and what we get in this life? Whether it's our house, do we put pride in that? Do we put pride in our vehicle or things that we think that mean something to us? And I know, Gabrielle, you have some scriptures on that you wanted to share.
I do. And, the Bible says a lot about pride, and there are several examples of people in the Bible that either were humble or were lifted up in pride. And one that stands out a lot to me is Nebuchadnezzar. He was the king of Babylon. Babylon was a huge empire. He had houses, lands, gold, silver, riches, and he got lifted up in pride. And he was walking through his palace and said, "Is not this the Babylon that I have built by the might of my power and for the honor and glory of my majesty?" And God had warned Nebuchadnezzar previous to that he should not get lifted up in pride, and that he would be humbled if he was lifted up in pride. God gave him the power to conquer other nations, and God gave him much wealth, but he took it all in his pride and thought it was all something he had done. He did not give God any credit for it. He thought it was all in his power. And God honored Nebuchadnezzar. God humbled Nebuchadnezzar. He became like a beast for 7 years and was in the field. His kingdom was rent from him until he humbled himself and recognized God, and recognized that God was the one that made him successful and made him be able to build the kingdom that he did. And it says in Daniel 4:37, "Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, whose works are all faithful and right, and whose ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he is able to abase and humble." And I think many times, even reflecting on what Josh was saying, many times we may not say things that come across as proud. You know, we may not say, look what I did. This is really amazing. Look how good I am at doing this. But it's in our heart, and God sees our heart. God sees when we feel conceited, when we take credit for, our achievements, and God will bring us low and humble us. And that's the seriousness of recognizing when there is pride in our hearts. And, I just want to say, God's done so much, as Josh was saying, for us, for our family, brought us through law school, gave us a beautiful house, great jobs, the best family and friends. But I'm constantly reminded that I have to recognize that it is Jesus who did that. The minute I begin thinking, look what I have, look what I've gotten, I'm becoming lifted up in pride. And like Nebuchadnezzar, God will humble me and bring me low. And I don't want to be lifted up in pride and take credit and glory for anything in my life, because it's only been Jesus.
And in James, it says that, I think it's in James, it says, "Come now, pay attention to this, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to such and such a city, spend a year there, carry on our business, and make a profit. Yet you do not know the least thing about what may happen in your life tomorrow. You're merely a vapor, like a puff of smoke or a wisp of steam." And it goes on to say what pride it is. It says, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live, we will do this or that. But as it is, you boast vainly in your pretension and arrogance. And I hear people say all the time, well, I've only got one life to live, or, I've only got a few more years left. I'm going to make the best of it. And how much pride is that, thinking you can do what you want in this life? Live like there's no eternity. We're born to do God's will. And we know the story of Lucifer, the angelic musician, who God gave him beautiful talent and great musical ability, but it says he got lifted up in pride. And in Isaiah 14, "But you said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the remote parts of the north. I will make myself like the Most High." And Lucifer was an angel that, from what I read in the Bible, God gifted, and God gave him a lot of authority, but when he tried to ascend his throne and his pride took him over, God threw him out of heaven. And we don't want God to do that to us. And in Proverbs it says, 6 things the Lord hates, indeed 7 are a repulsion to him. And one of them is a proud look, the attitude that makes one overestimate oneself and discount others. And we don't want to have a higher opinion of ourselves than we should. We don't want to look down and despise others. We want to be humble.
In Proverbs 11, verse 2, it says, "When pride comes, boiling up with an arrogant attitude of self-importance." And I just think that is such a good definition and description of pride. It's an arrogant attitude of self-importance. You think that you're more important than other people. You think very highly of yourself. It says, "Then come dishonor and shame." And as I, explained with Nebuchadnezzar, God will honor you, will bring you low, and will humble you if you get lifted up in pride. But with the humble, the teachable, who have been chiseled by trial and have learned to walk humbly with God, there is wisdom and soundness of mind. And I think back through my life how many trials that I've been through, whether it was in law school, taking a test, and I knew that I had cried out to God and God showed up for me. That is a humbling and a chiseling by trial, and that teaches you to walk humbly with God if you will let it. And that's the key. You have to let it. You have to recognize when God shows up for you that it was God, and not become lifted up in pride and not think it was in your own ability. In Proverbs 16, verse 18, it says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." And once again, I cannot stress how much God's been speaking to me of the seriousness of pride. It's not just, I thought very highly of myself. I need to be more humble. But if we walk in pride, we will fall. We will be destroyed. And it says, better it is to be of a humble spirit with the meek and poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. And that just shows how seriously God treats pride and haughtiness. And, Jesus loves us. We don't deserve anything, but he loves us and he wants to take care of us. And we just have to recognize that at every point when he shows up for us, it is him that has done it. It's not in our own strength, and it is not in our own ability. And once again, humility is renouncing yourself. You don't focus on yourself, what you can do, what you are, and what you want. And I see how subtly the devil comes in to focus on me, on mine. This is what I want and what I can do. But focusing on the will of God and what God has for you.
And one of the best parables, one of my favorite parables in the scripture, is when the tax collector and Pharisee went into the temple to pray. And it says, the Pharisee stood ostentatiously and began praying to himself in a self-righteous way, saying, God, I thank you I'm not like the rest of men, swindlers, unjust, dishonest, adulterers, or even like this tax collector here. I fast twice a week. I pay tithes of all that I get. But the tax collector, standing at a distance, would not even raise his eyes towards heaven, but was striking his chest in humility and repentance, saying, God, be merciful and be gracious to me, the especially wicked sinner that I am. And which one do you want to be? Which one do I want to be today? Do we want to be like that Pharisee, goes around, thank God I'm not on drugs, thank God I'm not out cheating on my spouse, thank God I have it all together? Or are we like that tax collector who realizes we're nothing, we're nobody without Jesus, and we are especially wicked sinners? And in verse 14, Jesus said, I tell you, this man went to his home justified, meaning the tax collector, forgiven of the guilt of sin, placed in right standing with God, rather than the other man, the Pharisee. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but he who humbles himself, forsaking self-righteous pride, will be exalted. And that's what we want to be. We want to be forgiven of our sin and placed in right standing with God.
And that really goes along with James 4, verse 6. It says he gives us more and more grace, power of the Holy Spirit to meet this evil tendency in all others fully. That is why he said, God sets himself against the proud and haughty, but gives grace continually to the lowly, those who are humble enough to receive it. And you have to be humble to receive the blessings of God and to receive the grace of God. It says, humble yourself, feeling very insignificant in the presence of the Lord, and he will exalt you. He will lift you up and make your life significant. We always have to live in that place that we don't know anything without Jesus. We're not anything without Jesus. And, one thing that I've seen is how subtly pride comes in. Somebody could pay you a compliment and say, that was really good what you cooked, or you did a great job in court, or you did such a good job on X, Y, and Z. And you think, well, you pay lip service to God saying, well, God did it. Thank you, Jesus. I know you did it. But in your heart, you feel lifted up. Look what I did. I'm really glad I did a good job at that. That's how subtly pride comes in. And, I've seen another part of pride is a self-conceit. You always feel like you're more important than other people. You always want to be the news bearer. You always want to be out front, a part of what's going on. And, there's several parables in the Bible where Jesus was telling those, if you're invited to a feast, don't take the top seat, take the lower seat, because it says everyone who exalts himself, if you take the higher seat, you will be demoted in front of everyone, and everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, ranked below others, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. And we don't want to compare ourselves to others and look down on others, or want to be like someone else. And we want to be humble. We don't want to be selfish. Philippians 2:3 says, do nothing from factional motives, prompted by conceit and empty arrogance. Instead, in the true spirit of humility, let each regard the other as better than and superior to himself, thinking more highly of one another than you do of yourself. We don't want to think we're better than anyone. We want to prefer other people and be concerned about them and not be selfish.
And we're going to sing Do the Work in Me. This is a song that God gave to actually Gabrielle's mom's first husband. And we're going to sing that now, and hopefully you'll be blessed. In closing, I want to share in Matthew 18, Jesus said, unless you come to me like this little child, be trusting, humble, and forgiving, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. And that child that comes to you knowing they can't do anything, knowing they need the help of their mommy or their daddy, that's what we want to be like, knowing we can't do anything without our Father God. Micah 6, verse 8 says, "O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justly, love kindness and mercy, and to humble yourself and walk humbly with your God." That's all God asks of us. That's what we want to be. We want to be humble. We want to be not proudful, not arrogant. We want to be servants and blessings, just like Jesus was on this earth. Thank you for being here with us today. We're on WCAB every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 9:30. You can find all of our prior programs on wordoffaithfellowship.org. Be blessed and have a blessed day.